What's up, friend, and welcome back to a new video here on the official MTG Arena YouTube channel. My name is Ashlizzlle, and today we're going to have a look at a Golgari Selfmill / insect deck. Now, this deck got a lot of new cards from Aetherdrift, so let's just dive right into it and let's have a look at how the deck works. So one of the most important things that we have to do as a self-mill deck is, of course, mill ourselves. And Aetherdrift has given us quite some really powerful cards to be able to do this. One of them is Dredger's Insight, 2 mana enchantment. Whenever one or more artifact and/or creatures leave your graveyard, you gain 1 life. When this enchantment enters, you mill 4 cards, then you may put an artifact, creature, or land from among the mill cards into your hand. This card is so nice within this deck. The 2 mana card that mills 4 obviously is fantastic. Kind of in a similar trend as the Overlord of the Bilmerk, which is also a 2 mana card if you cast it for the impending cost. You mill 4 cards and then you may return a non-avatar creature card or a planeswalker card from your graveyard to your hand. But the cooler thing about the Dredger's Insight is that it's also a way for you to gain life, so that you can survive longer and set up these like incredibly impressive turns into the future with these, with the self-mill strategy and the self-mill payoff, most importantly. So Dredger's Insight buys you time. At the same time, it's also an enchantment, which is pretty relevant because we do have some Delirium synergy in this deck. For instance, we're playing the Swarmweaver, which is also part of, once again, self-mill payoff because of Delirium, but also insect payoff. When a Swarmweaver enters, you create 2 1/1 black and green insect creature tokens with flying. And if you have Delirium, as long as there are 4 or more card types among cards in your graveyard, insects and spiders you control get +1/+1 and have Death Touch. So that's super important, especially if you consider that one of the better cards in this deck is new from Aetherdrift. It's a 1-drop, it's a 1/1, and an insect as well. You have 2 activated abilities. One of them is mill a card, which, hey, we love to see it. And the second one, exile a card from a graveyard and add 1 mana of any color. So it's also kind of like a rem piece. The cool thing, when Moltenor and a synergy with Dredger's Insight, once again, if you're exiling a card from your graveyard, you get to gain 1 life as well. So that's really cool, a little bit of synergy there. And the Moltenor works nicely with the Swarmweaver. Like I said, it is an insect. We also have some more spider synergy in here. We have the Brood Spinner. Also Delirium payoff within this card. It's a 2 mana 2/3 at reach. When it enters, you get this Reveal 2. So once again, a little bit of self-mill synergy there. For 6 mana, you can tap it and sacrifice it to create a number of 1/1 black and green insect creature tokens with flying, equal to the number of card types among cards in your graveyard. So once again, Delirium, we will definitely make sure that we can do that. We have a lot of enchantments, a lot of creatures, sorceries, we got instant speed spells. Of course, you have the lands too. So artifacts, we have those as well. So a lot of ways for us to get to the Delirium relatively quickly too. So the Brood Spinner can definitely get you a decent amount of insects. And those insects synergize with the basically inspiration for the deck and also the all-star of the deck list, Ashlizzlle the Emerald Radiant. This is a 6 mana 3/3. When it enters, you create a 1/1 green insect creature token for each artifact and/or creature card in your graveyard. Whenever another insect you control dies, you put a 1/1 counter on Ashlizzlle and each opponent loses 1 life. So if you flood the board with insects from, I don't know, like Swarmweavers, who also happens to pump up those insect tokens that Ashlizzlle makes, you have like Moltenors in play, Brood Spinners, you just have a board that gets pumped up, but also whenever one of those insects dies, you get that 1 life loss from the Ashlizzlle, which is something that goes out of hand incredibly fast. Another really cool piece in this deck, so spoken about like the insect synergy, Huskburst Swarm also is an insect. This is an 8 mana 6/6, but it costs 1 less to cast for each creature card you own in exile and in your graveyard. And then you get a 6/6 with Menace and Death Touch. Really cool because this deck is also a Beanstalk deck. This is a form of card advantage. So whenever this enchantment enters, and whenever you cast a spell at mana value 5 or greater, you get to draw a card. So even if you pay 1 mana for that Huskburst or Swarm, because you have enough things in graveyard or in exile, you will still trigger Beans. Same goes for the Overlord. Same goes for the Hollow Marauder that we're also playing in here. Also gets 1 less to cast for each creature in your graveyard. When it enters, any number of target opponents each discard a card. For each of those opponents who didn't discard a card at mana value 4 or greater, you get to draw a card. Just another, like, Beans trigger. It's a card that gets, ideally becomes 1 mana for us, and maybe could be a form of card advantage. And you also have the Overwhelming Remorse, which is part of the removal in this deck list. Costs 1 less to cast for each creature card in your graveyard, and exile target creature or planeswalker. Discount is great, and it still triggers Beanstalk, so that's a little bit of card advantage in the deck too. Quag Feast, 2 mana sorcery, new card from Aetherdrift as well. Really big fan of this card, especially in this like self-mill archetype. Choose target creature, planeswalker, or vehicle, mill 2 cards, and then destroy the chosen permanent if its mana value is less than or equal to the number of cards in your graveyard. Kind of does everything we need to do. Like, we can fill up the graveyard a little bit and get rid of like a valuable permanent that our opponent might have. Sorcery speed, but like I said, we don't mind that because we're also looking for some Delirium synergy. So Squirming Emergence is also part of the team. This is mostly in here to either like reanimate Ashlizzlle or the one-off Spicy Valgavoth. So Screaming Emergence is 3 mana sorcery, and you return to the battlefield a target non-land permanent card in your graveyard, mana value less than or equal to the number of permanent cards in your graveyard. So ideally, for 3 mana, we reanimate Ashlizzlle before we can like hardcast the card, so we can, you know, really get on the board aggressively. But if not, like if you've mill yourself and you find a Screaming Emergence later in the game, Ashlizzlle is always going to be worth it. Like you're always going to flood the battlefield with a bunch of insects. Hopefully you have a Stormweaver alongside it, so you can also get those the +1/+1 and Death Touch on them. And nobody is going to stop you. Well, maybe some graveyard hate, but that's why we are fortunately playing best of 3, and we have access to a sideboard, which is going to help us combat graveyard hate pieces through, you know, enchantment or artifact hate in the form of Haywire Mites, Terra Sunders. We have some Duresses in here. If our opponent's too fast, we have Cut Downs. We have some Harvesters of Misery, Shoulder to gain some life, Ghost Vacuum if our opponent is also trying to do some graveyard stuff. And that's kind of what the sideboard is looking like. We really just want to make sure that we can stop people that are trying to hate on our graveyard with our sideboard pieces. That is the upside of being in best of 3. So now let's dive into the gameplay here and let's see if we can reanimate some really cool cards, or if not, create a ton of insects. So yeah, let's get into it. But before we do that, don't forget to like and subscribe to the official MTG Arena YouTube channel. If you like what you've seen so far, you can also subscribe to my own channel where I post daily MTG Arena videos. And for now, thank you, Wizards, for allowing me to make another video for you guys. And let's dive right into some Golgari Selfmill / insects action. All right, this looks good. We have the Mole Tender. We have a little bit of card advantage, a little bit of Selfmill, some interaction. Ashlizzlle kind of needs to be in a graveyard, but if we can eventually get enough lands to work towards the card, that's not too bad either. So that's what we'll do. Let's start off with Mole Tender, and I think we're up against Domain. That's a really strange matchup. Really depends on how many Sunfalls they're hoarding. We have to be careful we don't like overcommit here. But we can fight fire with fire and also play our own Beanstalk. That's kind of what it comes down to. Beanstalk draw. I'll hold the Mole Tender and I'll just mill with it, I think, to just start filling up the graveyard. Yeah, it's gonna be a weird dance between our opponent board wiping us and us running out of cards. That's kind of a big thing that we're risking. Sure. I'm getting rid of my beans. Let me mill myself. Okay. Let's go Overlord of the Bilmerk here. A little bit more self-mill. And it's gonna be Hollow Marauder that we're gonna grab. I guess we'll just set up another Mole Tender here. Ramping is good. And we need some more creatures in the graveyard here to get the discount going on these. Okay. Mill. We hit a creature, that's good. Yeah, I could fire off Hollow Marauder right now. You gotta be careful to not, like, exile the wrong cards. There's also a Screaming Emergence possible for Ashlizzlle already, but there'd only be, like, one insect to come out of that. It can be that we want to try to reanimate an Overlord of the Bilmerk with Screaming Emergence. I actually don't hate the idea of that either. Maybe that's what I will do. Let's go and do Overlord. He can also bring back a Beans, which I don't hate, to be honest, because we do have a lot of bean value in our hand right now. Tricky is tricky. Also, especially because they could Sunfall me next. I'm honestly considering just bringing back beans. I think that's what I'll do. It was kind of wild, but especially card advantage is going to be super important, especially if your opponent's like going to try to board wipe us like every turn. So it's okay. It's okay. If we are the player in this matchup with beans on the board and not our opponent, that is big news. Let's see. Probably just mill myself again. Gotta get that value. Have some more creatures in there, get the discount going. Then we just gotta really carefully play out a threat at a time. Not try to get board wiped. So, mill card. It's a land, unfortunately. Mill card. Another land, unfortunately. Alright, now we're just doing some silly stuff. Mill? Please hit a creature? Still not a creature. Okay, we're just kind of milling the wrong side of the deck at this point. Oh well, I'll just play this out anyways and see if I can get some beans value. Yeah, I was gonna say, like, watch me draw into a creature immediately. It's fine. We have Delirium at least, so that's good. Drawing into the creatures, not in a graveyard, but we'll find a way to shove them there. So I feel like a Sunfall is on the way. Soon, TM. Beanstalk first. Okay. See if I can grow my Hollow Marauder to be a little bit more of a scary attacker here. Yeah, I'll just shove that Hearthscorcher Swarm into the graveyard to just get that discount. This is 4 now. That is 4. You know what I mean by, like, you could just easily slam a bunch of creatures here and overcommit to the board, but then it's just gonna be really bad if you, I think I can still afford to play a Hollow Marauder here, though. Just get rid of, let's see, what do we have? A land's fine. Get that Beans trigger, get rid of something out of their hand potentially, or draw more cards, I don't know. Binding. Not really a way for us to stop this card with what we have access to in the main. What are they going after? My beans? That's fair, that's fair. Hand's pretty full anyways, so I don't mind this. Discard 2 cards? I mean, I could play this Moltender out, but don't get too happy if you end up getting Sunfalled, which I think we have a lot of, like, threats on the board already, so I think we're getting in range, so I'm just gonna get rid of these. Overwhelming Remorse costs 1 mana right now, we'd love to see it. There you go! Sunfalled. I guess I can mill a card. Alright, 30 cards left in our library. We're gonna get this Bilmerk to transform soon. I think this is my... Swarm Weaver moment, I guess? Okay. Yeah, it's a tricky matchup. Definitely not a favorable one, that's for sure. Definitely not favorable. Aw, more beans for them? That's really bad. The more beanstalk they get, the more the game is gonna, like, favor them. Unfortunately. Art Advantage is just so, like, clutch in here. Wish I could cast Etchik already, but I can't. I could get rid of, Hey, that feels a little awkward, but I actually don't hate it, to be honest. Just make sure that I can hit my opponent for as much damage as possible here. Give it to the flyer. Not happy seeing a land there. Valgavoth. Ooh, that's good though. I already have an Etchik in my hand. I could set up 2 Huskburster Swarms. Like, this could be the moment for us to just commit to the board. And if they have a Sunfall, they have a Sunfall. It's tricky. I think I'm gonna do it, though. Let's commit. Be nice, opponent. Be nice. Don't Sunfall me again. If they don't have it, we just set ourselves up for success. If they do have it, we have set ourselves up for failure. That's the way it goes. Did they play like an Atraxa? Could also get pretty good value out of like Hurt Migration. Well, not really. They don't have full Delirium or Delirium domain yet. I don't know. I feel like if you had a Sunfall, you'd have slammed it already, though. That's a good sign. So what they're gonna try to do is they're gonna cast Leyline to try and search for Sunfall, I imagine. It drew 2 cards, so if they rip Sunfall now, we knew it was a card on top. Okay, so that at least wasn't the case, but they have 2 blockers in play now, and they still have the Phyrexian token. Interesting. If only I could play Etchik here, but I have a tap land again. No, they will block. I mean, we're still looking pretty good here, so I'm just gonna swing. Guess they're gonna go to 1, or maybe they have like something that triggers on attacking. I don't know. Valgavoth. I could grab it, but probably just Huskburst to swarm again. Try to like swarm the board. Going to 1. Yeah, now you have to be really careful. I think the best line here is to just pass the turn. I think. Like, they got a Sunfalls. This is what I mean, right? Like, we have 17 cards left in the deck, and we're just trying to survive our opponent's board wipes. If they have it, they have it. But yeah, you have to be so careful to not mill yourself out of the game against control. Against aggro, we don't really have to worry about that. But against control, oof. Okay, this is a good sign. Not getting Sunfalled yet. They can still draw it, though. Please don't. Be nice. You wouldn't want to hurt. Nah, everybody would want to hurt some insects, probably. Oh, it's a binding. But it's going to hit Huskburst or Swarm. Creature with menace. 3 mana open to deal with 2 creatures. Well, I'm hoping for the best. I'm hoping for the best. I'm actually gonna slam Etchik here, so whenever another insect dies, put a 1/1 counter on Etchik, and the opponent loses 1 life. So if they end up destroying something, then it's also a win. This is my last shot. This is my last shot. Oh, the life gain? Wait, I actually don't know how that's gonna change things. We're good. We're good. I think that was the last possible second for us to try and win. Okay, we can breathe. What do we need in this matchup? Definitely need those Duresses. We need those Terra Sunders. We need those Haywire Mites. I could also use a Maelstrom Pulse. Shoulder's pretty good. Valgavoth's probably awkward with the board wipes. Overwhelming Remorse. And so either keeping Overwhelming Remorse or keeping a Quack Feast. I think I'll keep the Remorse because it's a Beans trigger. This game is going to be all about value. All about value. I think I get rid of Brood Spinner. Can still appreciate some ramping though. Maybe I can get rid of 1 Molt Tender. Because it's all about going over the top. I like Swarm Weaver still. Definitely want to keep that. Definitely want to keep this. Even though the Huskburst or Swarm. Swarm you always want to keep anyways. Because it also works against Graveyard Hate. Possibly a Squirming Emergence. Possibly another Swarm Weaver. Maybe a Dredger's Insight. Because we also have that risk of like milling ourselves. Yeah, we could try this out. Okay. Could also just, if you're feeling brave, board in like 2 extra cards. Combat that Selfmill, you know, but I don't know if I recommend that necessarily. Okay. We're trying. Let's go Golgari Insects. I love this deck though. I know I keep saying it, but it's just so much fun to play. Etchik is a great card. And actually so many new cards to play with from Aetherdrift for this, which I like the most. Yeah, that's a 1-nighter. That's not gonna be a key for us. That's acceptable. I'll get rid of the Huskburst or Swarm because I don't really have a lot of Selfmill outside of the Molt Tender. Alright, so let's just get started with the little insect. Cool. Dredger's Insight, actually really great here. Nice top deck. Ooh, like this is where I wish I could grab beans back, but it's okay. If I do the land, well, if I do Swarm Weaver, it's also okay. All right, I'll go Swarm Weaver. I'll be a little brave. I'll hold Haywire Might. I'll use the Moltender to mill myself a little bit further. Let's mill card. What is it going to be? The opponent allows us to do this. Feels like they want to interact with it. Could be that it's the new exile card. Aetherdrift, like the 5 mana one that taps, or like exiles taps creatures, I'm not sure. Okay, so this is a very, very, very tempting Shoulder It moment. I kind of like it. I kind of like it. So I'm going to go and just get rid of Sorcery, because I can still work my way over to Delirium. Shoulder It. What are you going to do about that one? Hopefully the card gets to stick, they don't remove it, and we can get some good value out of it, but... It's a get lost. Alright, alright. That's okay. This is just going to be a little bit of a battle till we get eventual value out of this. Let's try to Swarm Weaver. Actually going to swing with my Moltender now. Just start going in for 2. That's a really nice, like, insect synergy that's just hidden in this deck. That's really, really, really cool, I feel. One is where we're going to try to want to find some removal for the Swarm Weaver. And I hope it's like a binding or something, because I can tear asunder that. See if I can just pump up some cards, just deal some more damage. Also, hopefully draw better cards, because that's not really looking good right now either. A lot of lands, not really what we want. Okay. Okay. Well, that's not good. Definitely needed that to be, features or something, I don't know. Another Get Lost, alright. I was really hoping it'd be a binding, so I could just get, like, the ETB again and stuff. But okay, alright. I'll just, bump this up some more, I guess. Surely we can stop finding lands. What is going on? I mean, I don't mind this, because we're drawing into the lands, rather than just being stuck in, like, the worst top decks of all time. But... it doesn't spark joy. Okay, so at least the Bilmer can get back the Swarm Weaver or the Shoulder It, whichever we feel like. Yeah, that's a problem. That's a problem. That's not good. That is not good at all. Yeah, I gotta get rid of Zor. And this is also my last opportunity to, like, Haywire Might the Overlord away, because Haywire Might cannot hit creatures. So we need to do it before it transforms. Yeah, that was not great. That was not great at all. Overwhelming Remorse would have been nice. Unfortunately, we had to commit with a Terra Sunder, but it is what it is. One is looking a little less good than game 1 is. Another Overlord. Alright, well, I still have to get rid of this one, so I'm just gonna do that. You can always do Overlord of the Bilmerk to get the Haywire Might back. This could also be bait, like, they could also just slam a Rip here. That would be very bad. Another land. Okay then. I don't know. A little bit flooded here. Yeah, like Etchik's fine, but kind of feeling a Swarm Weaver. I can play it immediately and like pump up my team. My insect army. Also have like a decent ETP there. I mean, Etchik has that too, of course, but probably gonna get Sunfelt now. I'm good on lands. I really am. Don't worry. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. Yeah, it's gonna be a board wipe here, I think. I'll block it because it's got Death Touch. And then Sunfall hits, I think. Yeah. I drew a lot of cards, so it was about time, I would say. Yeah, this is not the best spot to be in. This is way too late as well. I don't have a beans or anything that triggers another land. Wait, I wonder what the percentage is. I got like 23% chance to hit a land. Okay, I was about to say, like, it can't be high. Nah, I think you just, I think you concede out of that one. It's gonna be very, very hard to recover from this. Probably not possible. Best we can do is just run it back and hope things will look a little better. Let's go. I hope so. I hope so. Alright. Gotta clutch it, insects. Gotta clutch it. Let's see. Give me a good hand. Alright, nah, I gotta at least find 2 lands. This is not bad. I can get rid of the Hollow Marauder. Don't really have a lot of self-mill. Let's start with Moltender here. Get that milling going and hopefully get something great going for us. So we'll go Beanstalk. Good to have. Okay. Let's shove those creatures in the graveyard. Gotta do that pretty quickly. I'd like to draw into a Dredger's Insight or a Bilmerk or something. This Moltender is trying its best, but it might just be a little too slow. Mill. Land. Ooh, got another Beanstow. That's good. Mortuary. Just gonna shove it in the graveyard. I need to find the mill, like, pieces that we're looking for. That's actually tempting. Ooh, hold on. I'm gonna use that, I think. Let's get rid of the instant. And let's cast a rest. Let's see what we can do. Rest in peace. Oh my, we need to get rid of that. Temper Lookdown also very bad. Very bad. It grabs all our beans, but we at least have Haywire Mites in the deck so we can get rid of the Lookdown. It doesn't make me happy though. Oh, they're not doing it yet? They don't want to get rid of their own Beanstalk, I guess? Oh, okay. Yay! I love finding lands. Right. Okay, well, I guess we'll keep that on top, because look down and all. Yep. At least I kept the right card on top. Get these ETP effects again. That's good. So let's get rid of Temporary Look Down. We also give it to our opponent, but hey. I get 2 of them, so... really gotta step it up. Self-mill, please! No self-mill was found. Okay. Yeah, a little unfortunate here, not finding, not really doing what the deck needs to be doing, you know what I mean? It does a lot for our speed in general, like our speed is just not fast enough right now. It's just not fast enough. Yep, another look down. Okay. And then just as that happens, we find the Overlord of the Bilmerk. Okay. That would have been a really cool hit, but... well, I'm just gonna slam the Overlord here and then probably shoulder it, I guess. You giving me a Haywire Mite? Hold on. Interesting. I'm actually gonna start off with shouldered here. Be a little brave. Because if I get the beans, then I also get to draw more cards. Punish my opponent a little bit too. Ah, not the Zur. No. Okay. 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 Alright, alright. Yeah. We were just too slow. Like, normally, if we could pressure our opponent while this went down, we were looking at a different story here, but this is just a bit impossible, I think. I'm trying to rally, but... Anything at all? Like, any removal? More lands? I could do... Screaming Emergence, Huskburst, or Swarm is not bad. Like, you get some Death Touch blockers. I mean, I feel like they'll have an answer, but yeah, whatever, I guess. Azure is very bad. More lands. Man, no. I wish I could draw into those instead of, like, milling them. Yikes. Okay. No, I don't think this is our game. That Zur turn was insane. Yeah, now they go rip. Now it's basically like their paradise. Alright, well, GG's. It's not a good matchup. Game 1 was cool. This is just a little bit too much value, though. Like, Domain is a good deck. Domain wants to see decks that go into the late game, because they'll just devour them. And we are getting devoured. So, GG's, I guess. I'm just gonna dip out of this one, but it was okay. We need to have a little bit, like, faster self-mill there. Unfortunately, we didn't draw into that, but it's fine. I mean, it looks pretty good. Let's do this. We got the Atchik. Dredger's Insight. Yeah, this is okay. We also got Beans for some card advantage. This is, not looking too bad. Alright, we're against aggro. Of course, of course. Okay, we're gonna just start off with the Blooming Marsh here. Yeah, this card really needs to be in the graveyard, not in the hand. Yeah, a little awkward here, Valgavoth. We just gotta hope that we're fast enough, and if not, hopefully our sideboard can help us out. We'll do the new Verge, and let's get the Brute Spinner down so we can at least have a blocker here. I like Swarm Weaver a lot. I just think we need to... it's tricky. Yeah, let's just shove it in the graveyard. We kind of need to find a way to get to Delirium anyways for that to kind of be worth it, so... Really hope the Dredger's Insight's gonna buy us some time. Okay. Yep, they are just going fast. I'm just gonna have to block that one. Okay, chill, chill. Dredger's Insight, see if we can get ourselves a card back. Ooh, Huskburst or Swarm is going to be really nice. There we go. We're almost there, we're almost there. No attacks. It's just a race. A race against the clock at this point. The clock being my opponent. Playing Monstrous Rage. Oh my god. Okay. Really just trying to get those Valiant triggers. I'll happily like double block something of theirs. Ooh, that Screaming Nemesis could be a problem. Yeah, I'll just double block the Emberheart Challenger. This opponent is wasting no time. They're wasting no time. Okay, alright. Beanstalk. Okay, we're gonna get the trigger off of that at least. Okay, okay. Very close to Atchik. But I need some life gain up in here. Especially the Screaming Nemesis being a bit of a problem here for sure. My removal? Removal check? Removal check? Yeah, they're just swinging. they're just swinging, man. Okay, all right. Yeah, I just gotta block what I can, I guess, here. I'll go after Higher Claw because it's pinging me. I can mill a card, I guess. Okay. Yeah, really, really need to find myself the removal spell here. Any, like Quack Feast is fine, it doesn't matter, I just have to get rid of the Screaming Nemesis. Squirming emerges, hold on, can we do something with that? I have Achik in my hand, Valgavoth in my hand. I guess we can go Swarm Weaver. That's not crazy, I think. I might as well do Beanstalk then, because we're not really, Okay. Screaming Emergence, let's get back to Swarm Weaver here. We have the Delirium, so we're gonna get these insects with, Death Touch on them that could block the Screaming Nemesis. We don't have to take too much damage, because they're just too... Oof. Staying alive, staying alive. Aggro always finds a way to make it, Okay. The Questing Druid Chain. Oh, they're just, okay. Yep, we're gonna block that with an insect, so we only take 2. The problem is, unfortunately, our life gain is shut down right now, but it is what it is. Oh, we just got the Overwhelming Remorse. That's unfortunate. Okay, then. Still be able to get value out of that. I wonder if I'm just supposed to trigger that right now. So I can get the Beanstalk value. See if we can draw something better. Hit a ward. Draw. Draw. Swarm Weaver really likes us. Hey, bestie. If I do that, I still have a shot at maybe finding a land, so I can do Squirming Emergence still. So close! Okay, okay, we got the forest. We'll just target my opponent here. Squirming Emergence. Let's see, what are we grabbing? Overlord the Bilmerk isn't bad. Because that also grabs us back to Huskburster Swarm. Let's do that. Okay. Unfortunately, no life gain for us. But we can grab back Huskburster. Alright, I think I clicked the wrong one. That's fine. It's fine, it's fine, it's fine. Yeah, definitely not what I meant to click there. I wanted to grab the Huskburster, but it's okay anyways. Not sure if it will make a huge difference. I don't think it will. The greatest, you know, thing we have to worry about right now is our opponent potentially having... Yeah, that's kind of... We're playing so fast or sequencing it wrong, but hey, what can I say? I accidentally grabbed the card I didn't want, so I can't say anything. Alright, Mortuary, doesn't really matter. Let's go and play Achik the Emerald Radiant. Draw some cards. See how this deck is kind of like never running out of cards? Because of the beans. I mean, you know, we work with what we can work with. Let's just say it like that. I mean, I could also swing with the Overlord. I do have a whole army of insects that's helping me out. But obviously, like, we have to stay mindful of the rage. So I'm just gonna swing like this. Alright, they just give up. That works for me. That works for me. It was always going to be like an awkward block for them on the Huskburster Swarm, so I think if I actually swung with everything, I would have just won there. I didn't do lethal math. I should probably do that. Either way, it's been a long day. But thank you for joining me in this video, though. And checking out this really cool Golgari like Selfmill deck that I absolutely adore. Winning game 1 is huge. Absolutely huge. So we can go out of some slower strategies and into a lot of interaction. So I have those cut downs. I have a Shouldered. I have a Maelstrom Pulse. We have some Harvesters of Misery. Could go in with a Haywire Might too. Alright, so that's... The Haywire Might's probably okay. Like, it's the Monster Bolt token you can get rid of. Innkeeper's Talent you can get rid of. It's also some life gain. So that's probably what we want to, like, board in here. Then the, what are you taking out? That's always the other thing here. I feel like the Moltenders can probably go. They're a little bit slow. Don't really make good blockers either. Root Spinner is also slow, but it still blocks reasonably well, so we'll do that. I'll maybe get rid of a Beans? Especially on the draw. think the Hollow Marauders can go, because they are a little bit vulnerable. Still not bad though, like it does trigger beans, but if we're going lower on beans, we can get lower on like the targets that trigger it. Swimming Emergence can still get me like there and like to Atchik and stuff, so that's not too bad, but also could be a little slow. So we'll get rid of that too. I think Dredger's Insight's really important. Maybe an Overlord. Overlord does fill up the graveyard quickly, but we need board presence, we need interaction. So I think I'll go like this. There's also an argument to just completely cut Squirming Emergence. We could do that too. But then you kind of, you know, the Atchik becomes a little worse. I think we're going to try this out now. It's probably like correct to just get rid of Squirming Emergence here, but I just want to get Atchik value. So I'm here to play with Atchik, and ideally I don't hardcast a card. Ideally I just like, you know, get lucky and get it out faster than that with Squirming Emergence. So we'll see. All right. I'm excited that at least we survived game one. That was huge. Like we were really, really, really close to losing there. But like I said, you buy yourself just enough time. You get on the board, you get the beans value, you get the insect value, delirium, whatever else, all the value in this deck, you get that, and you put yourself in a good spot here. But I have a feeling that this opponent has left us, despite us playing best of 3. Maybe they were not feeling the fact that they lost to Golgari Selfmill. So it is what it is. It is what it is. Okay, so we're back. We're waiting on seeing what's going to happen game 2.